The U.S. carried out more airstrikes in parts of the Middle East over the weekend, and Taylor Swift, Billie Eilish, Miley Cyrus, and other female artists dominated at last night's Grammy Awards. Good morning. I'm Corva Coleman from NPR News, and here are today's top stories. A small bipartisan group of senators has unveiled a proposed measure to deal with immigration at the southern U.S. border. Among other features, it also provides aid to Israel and Ukraine. But House Republicans oppose the plan. House Speaker Mike Johnson says it won't even come up for debate in his chamber. Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy was the lead Democratic negotiator on the bill. He told MSNBC Republicans want to fan chaos at the border.
Speaker Johnson would sort of love to let this issue lie. He would love for there to continue to be chaos at the border so that Donald Trump has a political advantage. He would love to avoid the question of Ukraine because it splits his caucus, but he will not be able to avoid that debate if the Senate does its job.
The Senate is supposed to take a test vote on the bill on Wednesday. Meanwhile, Texas Republican Governor Greg Abbott visited the border at Eagle Pass yesterday. He was joined by more than a dozen other GOP governors. For weeks, Texas officials have been blocking U.S. Border Patrol agents from accessing an area on the Rio Grande, saying President Biden is not tough enough on migrants. The U.S. military says it has carried out more strikes in Yemen against the Houthi militia. As NPR's Greg Myrie reports, the U.S. hit targets in 3 separate Middle Eastern countries over the weekend.
The U.S. military says the latest strikes were directed against cruise missiles the Houthis were preparing to launch against ships in the Red Sea. This U.S. action on Sunday came only hours after a separate and even larger attack against more than 30 Houthi targets on Saturday night. Despite stepped-up U.S. efforts, the Houthis are still firing on commercial and military ships in the Red Sea. Meanwhile, the U.S. also carried out weekend airstrikes against militias in Iraq and Syria. Those militias have fired on U.S. bases more than 160 times in recent months and killed 3 American soldiers recently. Greg Myrie, NPR News, Tel Aviv.
Pop star Taylor Swift was a big winner at last night's Grammy Awards. As NPR's Mandalit Del Barco reports, she and other female artists dominated the ceremony, televised on CBS.
Taylor Swift made history as the first artist to win 4 Album of the Year Grammys, this time for her album Midnights.
Mind blown. Thank you so much.
Billie Eilish seemed stunned when she and her brother Phineas O'Connor won the Song of the Year Grammy for What Was I Made For from the Barbie soundtrack.
Yikes. Oh my goodness. Damn, that's stupid, guys.
Miley Cyrus won 2 Grammys for Record of the Year and Best Pop Solo Performance of the Year, and she performed her song Flowers. Other winners include R&B singer SZA, Colombian singer Karol G, country singer Lainey Wilson, and this year's Best New Artist, R&B star Victoria Monet. Mandalit Del Barco, NPR News.
You're listening to NPR.